Hello, this is Brett from Survival Comms, and I've been tagged by Finger Lakes Prepper for the 3x3 knife challenge. Now, in this knife challenge, you have to list your best budget knife, your most used knife, and your most recently purchased knife. Let's get started. Okay, we'll go ahead and we'll start out with my most frequently used knife, which is going to be my EDC, which is basically, and you may have seen this in some of my videos before, this is a Leatherman Wave, and the sheath is something I made myself. I make most of my own leather stuff, so, but I carry a small light, which is at the ThruNite TI3, and then I have a small ferro rod that goes on here. I like Leatherman tools. I've been using Leatherman tools since they were first introduced, and this has been the one I've been using for the past couple years now. You know, it folds out like your standard Leatherman tool configuration. It's a folded steel on this side here, so it's very comfortable when you hold it in your hand. It has a small wire cutter here, and it has your needle nose pliers and a standard, almost like a slip jaw plier type of interface here. This does have scissors, which a lot of people are kind of like, well, scissors really aren't that useful. Yeah, they are. They're especially in doing radio stuff, when you're cut shield and do really fine trimming or anything like that. These are invaluable. It's great for hiking if you had to cut out some moleskin or something like that. It makes that a lot easier to do such. It has a very sharp small screwdriver, which also doubles as your awl. It has two other slotted screwdrivers right here of a small size and an intermediate size. On the opposite side, you have a Phillips screwdriver. You have a large slotted screwdriver, and you have a bottle or can opener. On the off side, you have your standard blade, which of course locks, which is nice. You have a file, and you have a diamond file on the other side, which this is very handy also. That's a very nice option in my opinion. You have one serrated blade. I'm not a big serrated blade fan, but I mean, it's another cutting tool on here, so can't complain about that. And what's really nice is you have a small wood saw blade here. It's a fairly aggressive tooth pattern, so it's good for cutting soft materials. It doesn't work that great on bone. It tends to get clogged up pretty quickly. But not too long ago, I was hiding for some live fine canines, and I could smell fat wood. And I looked around, and I actually found a tree that was down. And before my buddy's Dutch Shepherd found me, managed to cut this piece of fat wood right here with this small Leatherman saw. So the Leatherman saw is definitely useful. Now, this is certainly not a lightweight option. These weigh like about 8.5 to 9 ounces, so weight wise they're rather heavy. This doesn't have, like the older Leatherman had, a scale on the side. So what's important to remember is that this is on a Leatherman tool, that this is 4 inches across here, and the total width of it across here is 8 inches. So there's my most frequently used. And now for my budget knife choice, the Ontario Rat 1. These knives have a price point of about $30, and they're a 3.6 inch blade, 8.5 inches overall length, and a weight of 5 ounces. And you know, when we were growing up, we always had buck 110s. That was the most common knife out there. And a buck 110 is a fantastic knife. That's like the original tactical folder. But when Spyderco came out with the Clip It, and had the clip on there. It kind of revolutionized everything, and now everybody makes a clip type knife, and these have become the exception, or the rule more than the exception, as far as pocket knives. Now you can see that the pocket clip adjustment, you can put it on either the right or the left side on the hinge side, or you can put it on the pommel side, or either the right or the left hand side. It is a liner lock, which is nice because you can evaluate your lock closure. It's tight, opens quickly. The blade is an AUS 8 steel, or stainless steel, which it's decent. You know, it's not the best choice in the world, but it's a good durable steel, and it holds an edge well. It's a full flat grind, which is consistent with the Rat series of knives. Like I said, I've modded this one. I've removed the black finish that it came with and polished it, and then I squared the spine on it because I wanted to have a suitable scraper. Put a lanyard on it, and I've got a little ferro rod McNugget on the end of it here. Bang for your buck, I think this is a fantastic value. Like I said, for $30, I don't think you can really go wrong with something like this. Now, these are not, although Ontario is a U.S. company, these are made overseas. It's hard to find a budget-priced folding knife that's made in the USA. Now for my most recently purchased knife. This is a Black Feather bush tool, which is made by Black Feather Knives, which is he's a one-man shop in Virginia, and he puts out some fantastic work. I've used this on several trips in the time I've had it. I think I've had it for over a year now, and I've been very happy with it. I really have. It's worked good on game. It's worked good for bushcraft tasks. I haven't damaged the edge on it. I mean, it's got some scratches and stuff on it, but that's to be expected. This particular model has the welded pommel on the end of it here. It's got micarta scales. The blade is constructed of 01 tool steel. It's a Scandinavian grind, but it's a Scandivex, so it's got a partial convex edge on it, which is good. The spine on the thing is incredibly square and incredibly sharp. Now, if I had to do this over again, I would probably get the lanyard hole in it, which I chose not to get that. I really didn't even think about it when I first ordered it, but that would be something I would do if I was to get another one of these. I've been extremely happy with this knife. When you receive something that someone has handmade, it puts a whole new spin on things. It really does. It's got a lot more soul to it than the mass-produced models of knives that are so commonplace today. It did come with a sheath. Now, this is his sheath. This isn't one that I made. It's of decent quality. And like I said, what I did is I put a ferro rod on it, but I put fat wood handles on my ferro rods, so I ended up having to mount that upside down with some shock cord, which is not too bad. I'll use like a carabiner right here for a dangler, and for backpacking that works out fine because I have to drop the profile below the hip belt line, you know, and this wouldn't mount up on that, but it's fairly simple just to take this off of that if I chose just to belt carry it. And I get the benefit of having a carabiner, and I could leave this hooked to my belt also and use this to hang gloves on or cordage or whatever else have you. Okay, the specs of this Black Feather bush tool are it's a 4 1/4 inch blade, and the handle is 4 1/4 inches long. And like I said, it's got a welded steel pommel, and even with all of this, the weight of this is 6.5 ounces on my scale here, which is only 1.5 ounces more than this folder here. Well, here I have my most used, budget, and most recently purchased knives. And I hope this helps. Now it comes time to tag 3 channels. The first channel I'm going to tag is Jim from Dorite Fabrication. Jim is a tool guy, and if you check out his channel, you'll find out and just about everything he does is excellent. I mean, all of his work, and check out his channel. I'm sure you'll agree. And the second channel I'd like to tag is Julian at Oscar Hotel 8, Sierra Tango November. Julian is in Finland, and he operates his radio equipment outdoors on his channel, and he has an excellent radio related channel that you should check out if that's your cup of tea. And let's see what kind of knives he rolls with. And the third and final channel I would like to tag is Joe from Feral Woodcraft. Joe does a lot of different reviews. He's a fellow bacon aficionado, and I'd like to know what his 3 knives are. So Joe, you're up. Big thank you to Finger Lakes Prepper for tagging me, and I hope this helps. This is Brett from Survival Comms. Till next time.